What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CheezeTalk podcast. I'm your host, Brian Rago. Today I got seems to be my every at least once a week guest, Cheesehead Nerd, Aaron. Today, we're on draft eve, so we're a day away from the NFL draft, and we just kind of figured we'd kind of talk Packers and draft. So, before I get to Aaron or the Cheesehead Nerd, I want to give a huge shout out to the Open Network for giving me the opportunity to express my opinions. And there is a special giveaway on the Ohana_Packers Twitter account. If it hits 523 followers, they're giving away a Jair Alexander 8x10 autographed picture. What's up?
Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm here.
Yeah.
So you want to start with your mock draft?
We can go. Yeah, we can start with our mock draft. Do a comparison that we got.
Did you do any trades?
No.
Did you get a lot of offers for trades?
Well, a couple,
did you
but I. What's that?
Did you do what you did it online, right? You kind of went and did the simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I never take trades.
Yeah, I reject them all.
So I just don't worry about them.
Yeah.
So let the professionals handle that when it actually comes time.
Right. Yeah.
So,
once you start getting into that, and then it just gets confusing.
But
well, let's see how your draft looks. Who are you going with first?
First, I was able to take Amarius Mims from Georgia, offensive tackle.
Okay.
So, because again, my belief is that if we're gonna sign Jordan Love for the future, he's obviously gonna be our franchise guy. We need to protect him.
Sure.
And Marius Mims was the best offensive tackle available. Normally mock drafts, I've not been able to get offensive tackles that I want, but no, this time I had to grab them. So
yeah. My first pick was Troy Fautanu from Washington, offensive lineman. I think I had him in my last mock that I did on here, but again, if Kool-Aid was there, I would have picked Kool-Aid. But I think we need offense more than defense, just like you said, to protect Aaron to protect Jordan Love. For sure. If he's going to be our franchise quarterback, we got to keep him on his feet as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Number 2 actually kind of surprised me because a guy popped up that I picked in my later rounds that was available in my previous mock drafts. Who'd you go with at number 2?
The second one I took Braden Fisk, D tackle from Florida State.
Okay.
So stud D tackle. He did very well in the combine. I think he would definitely add great depth to the D line.
Right. Yeah, I've always been preaching you got to get that rotation on that defensive line just to keep the guys fresh and keep that pressure on the quarterback, because you get pressure on the quarterback and he's going to throw the ball before he wants to, and then our defense gets turnovers. Then we win games. I went with edge rusher out of Alabama, Chris Braswell. He seemed to have his name popping up quite a bit during his time in Alabama, disrupting plays and making plays for the defense. You know, in my eyes, you can never go wrong with a defender from Alabama.
Usually not, no.
I mean, the last one we had, I think, was Clinton Dix, and he did okay for the Packers. So,
yeah.
But number 3.
The thing was pick 58 in the second round. I took Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M, linebacker.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Definitely need to address, people that get to the quarterback. We need to keep bodies in there. I drafted Tavondre Sweat, D tackle out of Texas.
Nice.
You gotta get the big boys on the line there and wear that offensive line down for sure. 4th pick.
At 88, I took Kyrie Jackson, cornerback from Oregon.
Okay, I've seen him floating around there too.
Mm,
Thought about that. Um, I picked Trevin Wallace, linebacker out of Kentucky.
all right.
It's a horse apiece if you want to draft a corner, unless he's like, I don't know, like a first round. I don't know. It just depends on where to pick corners because some of the ones you can get in the later rounds are the ones that are more successful. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, Pick 5.
91, I took Mr. Hit him with the kitchen sink, Miss Cameron Kitchens.
See, I didn't see him in mine for my 5th pick. Yeah, safety definitely. We need someone playing next to McKinney for sure.
Absolutely.
I think whoever is going to be back there is going to learn real quick. And I think with having McKinney and Alexander and Eric Stokes back there, I believe that they will be fast learners, which will benefit us big time. I took Kieran Amagaji, offensive tackle out of Yale. You never know. Injuries happen. Sometimes a lot of the offensive linemen just, seem like they're not as high priority in the first, 1 to 2 rounds. But we've seen our draft history where they've been successful getting drafted, mid to late rounds. So whatever. That's what I went with.
Not bad.
Who was your next one?
I didn't do any more after that because I don't subscribe to PFF, so I only do the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, I just Googled like mock draft simulator, and then you go in there and you can pick how many rounds you want to do and how fast you want to go. Well, I'll finish off. With the next pick, I picked Mike Sainristil, cornerback out of Michigan. He was number 0. He was always around the action when he was playing for the national champion Michigan Wolverines. Boo. And the 7th pick, I picked Steele Chambers, linebacker out of Ohio State. He has a cool name, Steele.
That would be cool to have.
Steele Chambers. That's an awesome name. He has to be a Packer.
Oh yeah.
Number 8, I took Joe Milton, quarterback out of Tennessee.
I like that.
He has an arm. I think he'd be a good backup, and he can run. And he's big too.
A big boy, yeah.
Next one, I picked Tyke Smith, safety out of Georgia.
All right.
My 10th pick, I picked AJ Barner, tight end out of Michigan. He always seemed to. I'm pretty sure he's a quick tight end, and he has some wheels and he has good hands. So that would be. Can you imagine having Kraft and Musgrave and Barner and last I picked a former Wisconsin Badger. He transferred to Louisville, but he has wheels. Isaac Garendo.
I remember him.
And if anything, I'm thinking special teams. He could be like a gunner. He can get down there and go for the tackle. So that is my last mock draft that I am doing. But overall, I believe the Packers are going to draft good. We have a better picture of what we're going into with our personnel this year, so we know what we got to fix.
Yeah.
So I believe it's gonna be a fun draft for us. I think we're not gonna be, mad because we don't know if our quarterback's gonna be coming back or not. We know he's back. He's already been back.
Yeah.
For off-season workouts. So it's we know what we have already. So do you think? I know you said you didn't trade any picks. Do you think the Packers will trade picks in the draft?
At some point, yeah, they always do.
I think once they get to like the maybe 4th, 5th roundish, they'll maybe start trying to get some extra picks later on because you never know.
Yeah.
If they do a draft Josh Jackson 2.0, aka Cooper DeJean, will he be a bust?
I don't think he will be, but again, it's one of those, it's always a mystery of you never know until a player gets there.
Yeah.
So I want to say no. I don't think he'll be a bust, but also again, that depends where he goes, what team he plays for, what division he plays in. A lot of factors play into it. So
Yeah, and depends on like the coaching too, the coaching that he gets.
mm-hmm.
I think if the Packers draft him, of course I want him to be successful, but I'm not sure that they'll draft him. But we'll find out tomorrow. What is the Packers' worst free agent signing?
Worst free agent signing?
Yeah.
I think the Packers, especially in Ted Thompson's tenure, they were never very aggressive in free agency. So there's not too many to go off of, but
I think we both can agree on this one.
Okay, shoot.
Martellus Bennett.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my. Oh, or Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham wasn't that great either for us.
No, I kind of did a little chart here. I just kind of went and looked online, and some of the better free agents that we have gotten have been like Reggie White, Woodson, Ryan Pickett, Preston Smith, Santana Dotson, Adrian Amos, Zadarius Smith, Jared Cook, Desmond Howard, Ryan Longwell, Tremont Williams. I'm pretty sure wasn't he undrafted?
Yep.
Undrafted free agent. Julius Peppers, and Sam Shields. In the worst, Joe Johnson. Pretty sure he was a defensive tackle. Then Martellus Bennett, Jimmy Graham, Devin Funchess.
I don't think Devin Funchess would have been bad if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah,
that was the issue.
His off-season workouts, he was a dog. You could just see it in him. Yeah. You're so excited for him to come in, then he goes out there and gets hurt.
But someone looks. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say he looked really good in preseason too. Like he looked absolutely phenomenal in the system.
Yeah, like that would have been an awesome weapon for Rodgers to have, but it didn't pan out, and here we are. Some of Goody's free agents. Well, Jimmy Graham, Muhammad Wilkerson. Remember him, the defensive tackle, big boy up the middle.
I don't remember.
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins wasn't terrible.
No, I'm just saying these are some of his that he in his tenure as GM that we went out and got. Yeah. Jaron Reed. I wish we would have kept him. I wish we would have been able to keep him longer. Tremont Williams. He went out and got him a second time to come back. I think that was more or less to help coach at the same time. Not like coach, but like, get people in the right spot and help them with a scheme. Rick Wagner. Sure, he was a right tackle, I believe.
Yep.
Billy Turner. Zadarius Smith. Preston Smith. Amos, Josh Jacobs, McKinney, and then Devondre Campbell. That's not a terrible list.
That's a pretty good list.
If you sit back and think about these people that he's brought in his 5-6 years of being GM, there's GMs that wouldn't even touch his free agents that he's brought in. It's crazy to think about. And I've made a list of top undrafted free agents. John Yurkovic, He might have been before your time.
Yeah.
He was a D tackle. There was a safety back in the 80s, Mark Murphy, oddly enough.
Mm.
Atari Bigby,
I remember him. Yep.
Colin Jenkins, tight end Ed West, linebacker George Kuntz, Ryan Grant.
Mm-hmm.
He was huge for us. I think the Giants didn't the Giants like waive him or drop him, and then we signed him.
He was with the Giants for a year on the practice squad, and then they waived him, and then we picked him up.
Because while running back got hurt, correct? Like who? I'm trying to think of who got hurt.
I'm trying to remember.
That was. I should have looked that up better, but he came in to replace somebody because somebody got hurt.
Yeah, and then he just went off.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's how good he was. He was so good for us. We don't even remember who he replaced.
Wasn't it back in the year we had like Sam Congato? Was that? Remember him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He had a good brief stint. Yeah. Oh. I remember him.
Here we are recording Ryan Grant. I'm not even. I'll just whatever. Sam Shields, Johnny Gray. Then we spoke on Tramon Williams, Paul Kaufman, and Willie Wood. So that's some pretty stellar names there for undrafted free agents that the Packers have gotten in the past.
Packers have struck gold with a lot of undrafted free agents. It's crazy.
I mean, it's just crazy. Some people get overlooked. Maybe in college they were with the wrong. It's just some translate from college to pros and some don't. It's.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find what else I have here. And I went back to 1982 to the last year's draft. All of our first-round draft picks. If you want to go through that.
I'm good with that.
Lucas Van Ness. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to end up overtaking Preston Smith at his spot. Devontae Wyatt, he's a gap plugger. He takes up space. Quay Walker, he's quick from side to side. I think he's going to have a breakout year this year.
Absolutely.
Eric Stokes, he's going to come back and he's going to make a difference on the defense. I believe he will. Jordan Love, we know what he's about, obviously.
Yeah.
Darnell Savage, I think he would have re-signed with us if he wouldn't have gotten injured. I think the injuries kind of took away his value for us.
A little bit.
Rashawn Gary, Jair Alexander, those two are in the same round. 2017, we didn't have a first-round pick.
No.
2016 was Kenny Clark. 2015, Demarius Randall. I thought remember that pick 6 he had against the Cowboys?
Yeah.
He had flashes of being good, but then he got into trouble off the field. And
yeah, I heard he was a bad locker room guy.
Yeah. Clinton. Yeah. You don't need that, especially around, other players that can spread and take over.
Yeah.
Clinton Dix. Dayton Jones. Nick Perry. He sucked to see him get injured. Yeah. I remember you had him on one side and Clay Matthews on the other side. They're both USC boys.
That was pretty cool to see for a bit.
Yeah. Pretty big bust, Derek Sherrod. Brian Bulaga.
Iowa.
BJ Raji and Clay Matthews in the same round, and then that following year is when they won the Super Bowl, or 2 years. 2 years.
Mhm.
2008, we had no pick. 2007, we had Justin Harrell.
Mm.
AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk, he wasn't like he was a stud. He was consistent.
Oh yeah,
Do you know
very good.
a good tackler? I thought he was good.
He was a good leader.
Yeah, good locker room guy. 2005, his buddy, some guy named Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I, I,
who's that guy?
I don't know. I'll have to look him up here later and see what he did. Ahmad Carroll,
Mm,
Nick Barnett.
Missed that guy.
Yeah, he was a hell of a linebacker.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was a good tackler.
Mm,
I remember I followed him way back when on Twitter, and he lived along the Fox River in De Pere, and he posted a picture of like his UPS guy or the guy delivering packages to his house wrote like go like bear down or go bears on his packages that he was delivering because he knew who he was. Javon Walker, Jamal Reynolds, Bubba Franks.
he was good.
Yeah, Antoine Edwards, I believe he was a safety. Vonnie
Yeah.
Holiday, Ross Verba. I mean, then it goes back to John Michaels, Craig Newsome, Aaron Taylor, George Teague, Wayne Simmons, Terrell Buckley, Tony Mandridge, Sharp. It's just, yeah, that's the mid 80s. So that went back quite a ways, but a lot of people that maybe kind of forgot about that had an impact for the Packers. You think back to like the tight end position, like Bubba Franks back when we had Brett Favre and Jermichael Finley when we had, Aaron Rodgers, and now we have Musgrave and Kraft, and looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Question for you:
Answer.
if you could bring in any former player to coach the position he played, who would you pick?
Donald Driver.
Donald Driver.
Mm.
What's your reasoning?
Phenomenal. He was such a good receiver. Very good route running. Good speed. He was smart. He was a smart player. It wasn't just that he was talented. He was a smart receiver. I think he'd be a great teacher.
Yeah. I'm going to go with my boy Charles Woodson. Because defense is the last line of defense. The secondary is the last line of defense before the receivers are over the top. And I think he can grab a room and get their attention pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to know and see what he has accomplished, and they're going to listen. Same with Donald Driver. They're going to see his accomplishments, and they're going to listen to him too.
Oh, yeah.
You get some guy that's been, a no-name, and chances of people listening to him as much as they're going to listen to Driver or Woodson are, far apart. Which draft class is Goody's best to date? Let me flip my book here.
I mean, you can make an argument for last year's because there were a lot of players in last year's draft that made impact right away.
Yeah, you got Van Ness, Musgrave, Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, Colby Wooden made some big plays. Sean Clifford, Dontavian Wicks, Carla Brooks made plays. Anders Carlson had a better rookie year than Mason Crosby, so quit hating on him, guys. Carrington Valentine, Lou Nichols, Anthony Johnson, Grant Dubose. That I was looking at that class, but I was also looking at the class before that with Quay Walker, Devontae White, Christian Watson, Sean Ryan, Romeo Dubs, Zach Tom, Kingsley, Ingabar, Tariq Carpenter, Rasheed Walker, Jonathan Ford, Samori Toure. That's another decent class too.
Oh yeah.
The one before that in 2021, we had Eric Stokes, Josh Myers, Amari Rogers, Royce Newman, TJ Slaton, Shamar Jean. Yeah, that one isn't that good. McDuffie, Kylan Hill.
Yeah. I mean, I like McDuffie.
Yeah, he's consistent. He likes to fly to the ball and make plays.
Mm. He used to play for Halfley. He used to play for Halfley at Boston College too. Think about that.
Yeah. Jordan Love, 2020. AJ Dillon, John Runyon. It's Love and Dillon are the two studs out of that class. In 2019, you had Rashawn Gary, Elton Jenkins. That's about it for them. Kingsley Kiki, I thought he'd do better, but I think he got hurt. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And his first draft class, he had Jair, Josh Jackson, Oren Burks, Jamon Moore, Cole Madison. We wasted a pick on J.K. Scott, Equinemius St. Brown. Yeah, that's about it. So, I just think that each year is going to get better for us, knowing what we have and everything. Which rookie QB will be the biggest bust?
And they're all pretty talented. Out of the ones that could be starters, I personally think Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. I know I'm going to get criticism for that, but he's talented. Don't get me wrong, he's talented. He's very talented. It's why he's going to go number 1 to Chicago. Not going to argue that. He's coming into a very tough division, though.
Yeah, he's coming into a very tough division, and the coaching staff that broke down Justin Fields, they're sitting there like ready to, break him down too. He has talent, but he didn't really do anything spectacular in college. What did he do? But then again, people were saying the same thing about Jordan Love, and he went. That's the difference, though. There's nobody in Chicago for Caleb Williams to go and sit behind and learn from. They're throwing him in the fire right away. And that's what I think makes a difference, and that's why Green Bay has been consistent with their quarterbacks over the last 35 plus years. Because, besides Brett Favre, he came in right away and had to play, but then Aaron Rodgers sat behind him, and then Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers, and he learned. He didn't go out there and make. He made mistakes last year, but no one was saying he's perfect. But he still made some really good plays, and Caleb Williams, I think he's gonna be terrible. I think Michael Penix, I think he'll be good from Washington. Bo Nix, he's been in college for like 8 years. It seems like he's been around forever.
He's been a while. I like him though. I like Bo Nix. So I think depending on the situation where he goes, I think he could do good, but again, that depends where he goes.
Yeah, so. McCarthy too. JJ McCarthy. I hope he goes to the Vikings, and he can learn behind Sam Darnold, and then they can get rid of Sam Darnold, and then they're going to have the same issue with JJ McCarthy. Then they're going to get rid of him. It's like a carousel.
Yeah.
Do you plan on going to the draft in Green Bay?
Oh, yeah. I am missing that.
Yeah?
I am missing that. No way. There's no way. I was so stoked. I remember when they announced that last year, just talking about it at work with everybody, like, yeah, we're going. Everybody's going.
Yeah.
I have to go. Yeah. I'd be like this is one of those like once in a lifetime opportunities to go to one of your favorite sporting events in your town,
right?
In your state. Like, I can't miss that.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll have to have my wife just drop me off and come pick me up somewhere. So it'll be crazy. It's gonna be so crazy.
It's gonna be nuts.
Even just to be there and like just walking around and seeing all the different fans and I think it's gonna be awesome. So my questions are done.
Okay. I guess I'll go then. Let's see here. So we never really favorite current player. Like what I know we didn't talk too much about like what who we have. Favorite current player that we currently have.
Favorite current player?
Yeah.
I'm a defensive minded guy. Although I haven't seen him play in the green and gold yet, I like McKinney.
Hell yeah.
But okay, current player that I've seen play for the Packers would be Jair Alexander. He just changes the whole game. Yeah. He just changes. He's not afraid to go line up against anybody. And I think having him at corner and McKinney at safety is going to be huge. It's going to make quarterbacks think twice of where they're going to throw the ball.
Absolutely.
What about you? Is that Jair yours?
That's my guy.
Yeah,
my guy. He's been my guy since we drafted him.
Yeah, cool.
I remember the year I remember that draft when we got him, and afterwards, because it was also the same year that we let go of Jordy Nelson, and Jordy Nelson was my previous jersey. So I'm like, well, I got to get a new jersey.
Yeah.
So I went to the mall. I went to Shields at the mall to get a new jersey, and originally I thought I'm gonna get to wide receiver is my favorite position.
Okay.
So that's why I had Jordy Nelson before Jordy Nelson. I had Greg Jennings, wide receivers. That was a position I played in high school too, and
okay.
So I love the wide receiver position. I think it's one of the most unique and fun positions to watch.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna get Devontae Adams. That was my idea, and then I get there and they didn't have Devontae Adams in my size. I wear a size large, and they only had extra larges, or they had one medium, but it would have been a tight fit.
Right.
So, and it was after the draft, so we had Jair on board already, and I was just like, you know what? I love it. I love this guy's energy. I love his enthusiasm for the game. I like the tape. I'm gonna take a chance on him, and
right.
Obviously it's paid off. So,
hell yeah.
So, I definitely was not. Definitely was money well spent. That's for sure.
I think I have that hat you're wearing too.
Yeah,
I have it.
Yep. And then this was the draft. This was the draft cap from 2 years ago, and then I got the draft cap from last year.
Yeah, I was at Lambeau. Was it last week? And they're putting out a bunch of new stuff, and a bunch of stuff on clearance too at the pro shop. Bunch of stuff on clearance. So, good question.
Okay. Let's see here. Did you play football when you were younger?
Yes.
What position did you play?
I played offense and defensive tackle.
Nice.
I started playing when I was in middle school and played all through high school.
Nice. Nice.
Yep, my favorite sport, and I don't know. It's just fun. It's go and throw a ball around and hit people, and get on the bottom of a pile, and jam your fingers in somebody's ribs, and. And you said you played receiver?
I played receiver and safety.
Okay.
So that was because receiver was my favorite position. And as for safety, like I would play corner or whatever, but Because I'm generally a small guy, so playing tackle or linebacker wasn't really an option.
Yeah.
So as much as I want to hit a guy, it was better for me to play safety because I wasn't the fastest.
Right.
So I'm like, safety was perfect for me. So
yeah, you can kind of read the play and see where the ball's going and make up ground when the ball's in the air. Yeah,
and be able to basically like play center field and just see everything in front of you.
Yep, that's sometimes the best. If I had the body size, and that's what I would have played too, is safety, because you're kind of like a ball hawk and you lay the big hit on people.
I did get a chance after high school. I got a chance to play a little semi-pro because I had some buddies that there was a team in Oshkosh that was being formed, and I had a few friends of mine that were on that, and they said they were looking for players. So I was like, well, I miss playing football. Why not go for it? And I played safety, and we had a scrimmage against a team from Green Bay. And I remember I actually got put on a safety blitz.
Yeah.
And I can remember the things. I can remember it step for step. I remember getting the play call. Everybody got an armband. We got the play call. I looked at my armband and I checked with the other safety. I'm like, this means blitz, right? Because I wanted to double check because I got a little jump happy. I'm like, is this a blitz? He said, yeah. And I'm like, all right. And then I perfectly snuck up behind the outside linebacker on my side. And I timed the snap count perfectly. Literally, it was like God opening the gates of heaven. It was like literally offensive line was like this, right in the gap that I shot.
Cool.
And run it right, and I hit the hole that the running back was supposed to run through.
Yeah, awesome.
That was probably the best hit that I had in all my time playing football, and I'll never forget that.
I remember a play when I was in high school, the 41 toss crack, where the tackle cuts out and he swings out and he goes and hits the cornerback. Like, yeah, come on, little man, let's go. Well, yeah, was that the Blackjacks? Is that who they are in Oshkosh?
They were the Oshkosh Bombers.
The Bombers, okay.
I don't think they're there anymore. I don't think they lasted that long.
Yeah.
So I only was really with them for a month, and then I couldn't really. I was only like 19, 20 at the time, and I was only working at McDonald's at the time. I wasn't making a lot of money, so I couldn't really afford driving everywhere. So,
right. Yeah, that all adds up for sure.
Yeah. But I had fun. It was fun.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sitting here reminiscing with these questions.
Nice to reminisce a bit, honestly. I love talking football in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's old memories or the current state of the Packers or even college football, love it. I love talking about it.
Hey, speaking of college, remember the talk we had about the NIL?
Yeah.
So I was reading an article that, like, in February, apparently AJ Storr and his guys were already in negotiations with Illinois to go there, and they think that might have something to do with how they struggled in the later part of the season. That makes a lot of sense.
That does, because I mean, there was a stretch where we were playing good, but then we faltered, and then I'm like, it didn't make any sense.
That should come on the grounds of like tampering.
That can be because
it's mid-season, and you're discussing money with players and transferring. That's tampering right there.
Yeah, that should be that. Yeah.
Little nugget.
Yeah. Did you hear about? It's funny. We talked about Reggie Bush. You hear about him today?
Yeah.
I called it.
Yeah. They should give OJ back his trophy.
Yeah.
Oops.
God. Oh, jeez.
I'm not going to edit that, just so you know. I don't.
That's fine. That's you're talking to the comedian here. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
People want to get butt hurt. They can get butt hurt. I don't care.
Yeah. That's how I feel too.
Mm-hmm.
Whatevs.
Yeah,
that was a good question though. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Favorite Packer draft moment that you can think of, like moment.
From what I'm hearing, I'll speak into the future, and I'll say next year because I hear they're gonna. I've read articles online where rumor has it that they're gonna do something to the fact of like riding a bike across the, something like the Packers do in the mini camp.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be that. But I just think the Packers hosting the draft in general, just knowing that's a reality is my favorite. And just the excitement. I mean, everyone speculates for months and weeks and days and who they're going to take, but until we actually finally sit down and watch, and with 25th pick of the 2024 NFL draft, the Packers select, and it's all built up, and then boom, and
Yeah.
So then once you start getting the drafts, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, this guy is projected to do this for the Packers, and it's going to be they're going to take all these people the Packers are after, and they're going to run with it, and we'll probably do the same thing and speculate what's going to happen and everything. But what about for you? What's your favorite Packer draft moment?
I mean, if we're just that next year aside, I really liked when Jair got. I really liked when Jair got drafted, and you see that, and you immediately see that the energy and the excitement from the guy.
Yeah.
Or even Rashawn Gary, when he got drafted, and you see how emotional he gets. He's crying on the phone, talking to whoever. He's probably talking to Goot, probably.
Yeah.
In that moment, and you see the passion behind with these players. Like you see them get emotional. Like those are going to be good players.
Well, that and they're everything they worked for came to that final moment. They come from everyone comes from a different walk of life. You don't know what they went through.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good for them. It's awesome.
That was pretty much it for me for questions. So.
Okay.
So
yeah, I don't have much more other than the fact that the draft is tomorrow. I'm gonna probably get going here. If you have anything else to say, I can let you.
I actually wanted to go over it a little bit. I decided I did a little digging, did a little research because I was curious. I remember seeing a post a while ago about how many what teams have had the number one pick since the year 2000. Obviously, Packers being as good as we have been this century, we haven't had it. But then I had the thought of, have the Packers ever had the number one pick?
Sure.
So I looked it up twice. First was in 1957 with a familiar name, Paul Hornung.
Yep.
There was no way he wasn't. No matter what the team, I don't think anyone else would have gone number one that year. He was too good.
Yeah.
He was too good coming out of Notre Dame.
He's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the other time was 1959. A no-namer, Randy Duncan out of Iowa, quarterback.
Randy Duncan?
Yeah.
Like Duncan?
Yeah. Duncan. Yeah. I
Okay.
believe.
Yeah,
I don't.
I've heard that name before. Obviously, probably from looking up certain stats or people bringing it up or
No.
whatnot. But it's crazy to think that we've had the number one pick twice in our 100
Mm-hmm.
plus years of existence for the Packers. It's crazy. They
Haven't had
had
it. Haven't.
teams like the Lions that have had it multiple times in the 2000s and haven't done anything with it. All we do is draft receivers that suck.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to plan maybe for another episode
Mm-hmm.
about the draft. Once the draft is done and get our
Mm-hmm.
bearings straight and figure everything out and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely fun being on talking
Mm-hmm.
Packers and
Oh yeah.
whatnot. And you still making those TikTok videos?
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
I try to make at least one or two a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to just let the ideas come to me, and I try to save audios and try to come up with ideas for bits and
Yeah.
do mock drafts. I'll post mock drafts on TikTok, and
Awesome.
so oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm big on the Twitterverse. That's where I hit 11.4
Nice.
followers yesterday, I believe. So I'm getting up there and
Nice.
just keep talking with people and getting the podcast going and getting people in slots. It's going to be a little bit harder for me to do this summer because I got my kids and I'm coaching. So I'm coaching U12. My fifth grader is going to be in U12 soccer. I coached them
Nice.
last year, and then my two girls are going to be in U15 senior girls soccer. And I kept on getting emails saying, "Oh, the team your daughter signed up for is still looking for a head coach." You get them like 2 or 3 times a week. And
Mm-hmm.
the one time I get an email and I looked at it, it's like, "Oh, if no one steps up to be a coach, then you got 20 girls that aren't going to be able to play soccer." So I called the guy. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll coach that team too. I'll make it work, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be coaching 2 teams this summer, and then it's going to be crazy for me, but I'll make it work.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. But again, thank you. Where can people find you at?
Now you can find me at cheesehead_nerd on X, or you can find me. I make videos at Ohano Packers on TikTok.
Perfect. You can find me on YouTube at CheezeTalk Podcast. Cheese is spelled with a Z. And on Twitter, you can find me at CheezeTalk_pod. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Aaron. Appreciate it. And Go Pack Go. And we'll looking forward to the draft.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Take care.
You too, man. See you.